Too Many Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle, every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hats podcast.
Top of the morning to you good people. Happy Monday. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, man. It's your host with the most, Tony May, Lavelle Salter. Look, man, we have a good one today. And I know I keep saying that, y'all. I keep saying all of them are good ones, but it's a good one today, man. It is. It's a good one. And I think what we need to do today really is understand that we have there's a lot going on, man, in today's society, man. And hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get this. What's going on with it? Hold on, y'all. And I see it's a little staticky, man. I'm trying to figure out why it's doing that. All right, there you go. It's a little staticky on my end. I don't know if anybody else hears a little staticky when I play it. I hear a little static. And it could be because I'm streaming with I'm inside my office and I'm kind of almost in a basement. I'm on the first floor, but I'm almost in the basement. I got to work a little early so I can log on. So I don't know. I don't know if it's can you hear it? Is it still staticky? If not, we'll move on. All right. So first, let me say this. Y'all do know that starting June the 2nd, we're only going to be broadcasting from our Too Many Hats podcast fan page. It actually says Too Many Hats podcast, but and our YouTube channel. Those are the only two places that we're going to be streaming from starting June the 2nd. And we're trying to. I'm gonna keep it scrolling across the bottom so you guys can see. And if you look at the right bottom of your screen, I don't know, it might be pretty small for some of you guys. If you're on a computer, you can take your cell phone and just scan that QR code and make sure that you're part of our fan page, so you can actually get the topics that's going to be coming down. So in the live streams. So this started June the 2nd. That's it. I'm the only two pages, the fan page and the YouTube channel, because we want to make sure that we capture the people that are not on Facebook, and with the YouTube channel, we can capture the ones that are not on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So we do have an Instagram page too, but to actually stream this to Instagram page, it's so many other steps to it, and so I just don't do it because a lot of times when I'm streaming, I'm not streaming from my actual computer, and you need to be streaming from a computer to actually stream for the Instagram. So anyway, so today I really wanted to, because last week, Friday, when we talked with, we had our guest co-host Marcus Young on with us, and we were talking about texting, and is texting considered cheating? And so while we were talking about that, there were a couple of things that came up, and one was intimacy, and the other one was sex, and we kind of spent a few minutes talking about those or the lack of it in relationships. So I wanted to ask the question today really is, without intimacy and sex in a relationship or marriage, can it be sustained? And I definitely I definitely like this is 100% like it depends on the couple and what their intimacy and sexual needs are. Uh, because I've seen couples where um, the male was more sexually active or wanted it more than the female, and then there was some relationships where the female wanted it more than the male, and then there was some where it's kind of even out, and there was some where the male wanted, the female wasn't giving it, and vice versa, and it was a problem. So, and that's intimacy and sex. So a lot of people, especially men, we equate intimacy to sex. And intimacy is not always dealing with sex. You know, y'all have heard Lavelle say it from time and time again that, you know, intimacy is not always sex, and it's not. It's that soft touch, that reassuring that you care for them, that you love them, and all that. And it's so and showing them. So it's not necessary. So we feel like with me, a lot of men feel like, well, if I'm having sex with you, that mean I love you. No, it don't. It don't. Cause y'all know, we stick out, you know, our Johnsons in just about anybody, and you know, just to get, you know, our satisfaction, or just to be satisfied. So that's not always true. So when you think about intimacy and thinking about sex in a relationship or marriage, I believe that good morning, Joseph. I believe that in order for a relationship and marriage to be sustained, it you definitely have to have some intimacy and sex in that relationship. It's going to be very difficult. Um, now I have seen like older couples when I say older, I'm talking about, you know, when they got up in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, where they just it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a thing for them. And so since it really wasn't a thing for them, it was that wasn't an issue. But for most men, and I'm not gonna rule out men in their 60s and 70s, you know, but I'm just saying like a lot of times, you know, older relationships like that, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes that aspect of intimacy and sex goes dormant. And uh and in a relationship thing, it's because we've been together 45 years and we ain't going nowhere. You know, it's kind of one of those things. And so, but when you're talking about um a relationship or marriage where you guys have been in a relationship, you know, any number of years, or married any number of years, that's sex and intimacy is very important to help sustain that. Because if not, it's gonna create those gaps, those opportunities for others to infiltrate their relationship or their marriage. Um, if the man is not being intimate, is not showing intimacy, uh, the woman will, you know, and look, this, I think sometimes this is the difference with men and women, especially when as it relates to cheating. Sometimes, I don't necessarily. Good morning, Queen. I don't necessarily think that women necessarily, not all women, go out and say I'm finna cheat. Some women they got that get back spirit. He cheated on me, I'm finna go out here and cheat on him. They got the get back spirit. Okay. And then you got some women that say, you know, he's just not being intimate with me. You know, he's not showing me any intimacy. And because they are emotional creatures and they go out here, then they run across these slick dudes who telling them all the right things, showing them that, you know, telling them they beautiful and they pretty and all this good stuff. And they just tend to kind of get caught up in that. So I think that's where the difference comes in when you talk about cheating a lot. I ain't saying that's for all women, because I know some of y'all that be like, man, he fine, I'm getting it, you know. But I think when you talk about intimacy and sex in a relationship or a marriage, I definitely believe 100% that in order for their relationship or marriage to be sustained, there has to have some intimacy and sex in their relationship and marriage. Good morning, Mayor. That's me personally. That's how I feel about it. I've heard people like, no, me and my husband went 5 years without having sex. Is that how he feel too, or is that just how you feel? Because he might be like, yeah, we ain't had sex in 5 years, but I'm over here smashing, Susie Q. So I'm good because I'm smashing Susie Q over here. But you on that, you don't want to give it up, So I can tell you right now, especially if you're a younger couple, if you're a younger couple or a married couple or in a relationship, and y'all are between the ages of, I ain't gonna even say 20, because in 20, y'all everybody be effing like rabbits in their 20s. So I'm gonna say, if you're in a relationship or marriage and you're between the ages of 30 and at least 60, 30 and 60, that 30-year gap, and you're in a relationship or marriage, you need intimacy and sex to sustain their relationship. Man, you know you in your 20s, man. Y'all boy, them late teens and them 20s, boy, everybody is out here rabbiting. And that's what I just said, Joseph. I just said that. Joseph said, horny ain't intimacy, fellas. And I absolutely positively agree with that. But that's what a lot of times men, and I said that, a lot of times men equate sex as intimacy. And that's not always the case. The woman want to be just touched sometimes, held, just told she's showed and told that she's cared for. And when we talked about the gap that day, one of the things that the young man said on the message on the video was that his wife says, "You're not intimate enough with me." And he was like, "Man, we boning. So what does that intimacy look like for her?" So he asked her, he said, "So I don't even know what that means, because I'm thinking we having sex, we being intimate." And she says, "You're not intimate enough." He said, "What does that mean?" And she told him, and he said, "So if we did not have that conversation now, when would you have brought it up to me?" And she said, "I don't know." So that could have been a time for Johnny Longstick to break in between and start showing her some intimacy, and now she gone. She gone with the wind. Intimacy is intimacy. Intimacy. Oh, she's crazy. She do it. Hey, that's some of that. That's some of that Lavelle analogy.
Yes,
Mr. Lamont said, "Fellas, long time no see. Hope all is well, my guys." Yeah, he said, "Enjoy watching and listen to y'all point of view." Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. But when you have, I just really believe, and again, y'all may feel a little different, but if you do not have intimacy and sex in a relationship or marriage, I don't see it last.
Well, I'm always going to play devil advocate, because a lot of times what could have happened, especially when it comes to women, not more so much as men is concerned. And whenever you do these topics, I always go and do a little research. A lot of times when it pertains to women, and they not gonna go out and cheat. Now, if they're a grown, mature woman, their body goes through changes. With their different levels of estrogen, and if they don't have children, and their body changing, and they feel shame because they don't look like they used to look, and all this type of thing. And That's why you, like you were saying earlier when I tapped on. That's why you have to keep on building her up and tell her she's beautiful, she you love her, and all that. Y'all got to have some conversation and stuff like that, because a lot of times it's difficult for a woman to tap back into that intimacy part, because sex and intimacy is not the same thing at all. Because at that point it's just sex. Let me get, it becomes an obligation to the woman, and she just get it off her chores. And the man gonna take it because he trying to, he getting everything off his plate, because I need to get this energy that's built up in me. I need to get it out. But I think a lot of times you just do those obligations and y'all really not connected, y'all not bonded, and y'all just having a thing where, let me go ahead and get this. Bust a nut.
So you said you was going to play devil's advocate. Where's the devil's advocate? You just said everything. You just agreed with me that if you don't have sex or intimacy in a relationship, it ain't gonna last.
No. I'm just saying, as far as, I know, like you saying, like the woman may leave or go do something. Because I just watched the Instagram reel, and I wish I could have found it.
No, I definitely say it's not all women. I said, but I believe that's sometimes that's what the women do. They don't look to go cheat. Is that they're not getting that intimacy or whatever at the house, and this dude shows up and telling them and showing them all the stuff that they want their husband to do or they make it do, and they fall for the okey doke.
What you exactly your analogy how you were giving it in.
Yeah. They throw it's the okey doke, and they fall for the okey doke sometimes.
Right.
He said ideas for intimacy. I mean, it's gonna vary. It's gonna vary per relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you, and this is the part where Patrice, and I hate Patrice not that haven't been on here in a long time, but one of the things Patrice used to always say when we had conversations about relationships and stuff, one of her favorite things she used to say was understanding your mate's love language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I can't tell you because I don't know what your love language is. I don't know what your mate's love language is. That's something you got to figure out. But see, everybody don't like candles and music, Queen. So I mean, that's an idea, but everybody don't like that. He has to figure out what his love language is, what his mate's love language is, what she considers it. Because just like the guy said in the video, his wife says, "You're not intimate enough with me." He looked at her and said, "I don't even know what that means. Tell me what that looks like for you." So if a woman tells you, that's just freaky, Queen.
Yeah, what the hell? That's something.
That's just freaky, Queen. Eh? So
you need a bath.
See, this is why it's important too that we have to have conversations, man. We have to have grown folk conversations. If you go to touch your mate, every time you touch your mate and she and it's because she know all you want to do is pounce up and down. She might not be with it. Like you ain't showing her nothing. All you showing her is I'm ready to go at it, right?
Right.
Well, she may feel some kind of way, but if you say, "Hey, what's going on?" Well, I mean, all you want to do is you don't touch me, hold me, you don't kiss me, you don't caress, you just jump on the jumper. Oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Because I keep saying most men's idea of intimacy is sex. He said, "Just ideas. I understand mine to a point, but someone else might need ideas to start learning how to show intimacy. They have to ask their mate. They got to talk to their mate. You can't like we can throw out all ideas when they go try to use all this stuff, and then one looking at them like, what woman you'd have been with? Because this ain't stuff that I like."
Right.
So and this has happened to me before, y'all. Before I was married, I'll never forget this. I called myself gonna do some stuff, hear my boy talking about I'm gonna do some stuff. And the girl was like, "Who you have been with?" Because I ain't never told you I like nothing like this. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm just trying something new. She was like, no, and and I was like, whoa, okay. So it could, you trying what somebody else giving you out could very well lead to what's that about? Because that ain't what so you have to know your partner's love language. Queen, you everything with you is about freakiness.
Yeah, because the thing about it is about intimacy. Intimacy ain't always about uh um uh what's the word I'm looking for? Not intercourse, not the word, but penetration. It's not always about penetration.
It's not always penetration.
Yeah.
She said, why not go to everybody? Girl, it's crazy. She said, true find his or her spot, know her likes and dislikes. Yep. You gotta know her likes and dislikes, but I'm saying like you trying to like just hug her and caress her. She was like, I don't like to be held that way. I like to be held from the front. But you trying to hug her from the, you see what I'm saying? Just when you just holding, she might like to be held, but you trying to hold her from the back. She don't like the back. I like to be held from the front because I want to feel your breast against my breast to and ain't no kissing, just you just holding me. Like sometimes I come in, my wife just say, or she'll just walk over to me and just hug me.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't finna do no sex. Now they just hug me. Yesterday, man, like I was dealing with some stuff. No, that was the day before. I was dealing with stuff. I was like, I need a hug. And she just hugged me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it ain't all the time that you have to talk to your partner. That's a must. Man, that's definitely a must. Good morning, Miss Alfreda.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't talking to your partner about what's going on, and look, peep this right here, Lavelle. Intimate for some women can just be mental stimulation. The conversation.
Yep. But that's where it starts at. That's the untapped situation to the point to where you don't get to the other part because you're not penetrating her mindset. You're not penetrating her spirit. You just want to go ahead and get there. But
right.
And if you massage that area and really love her for who she is, I mean, when that time comes, it's gonna be something that you're gonna be able to hold on to.
Look, again, I ain't trying to put our business out there like that, but I can't, like, for me, talking about stuff like this is almost therapy.
Okay.
For me, I mean, and a lot of relationships, they ain't talking about it. They experiencing all of these heartaches and pains, and they don't know how to deal with it, and because they don't know how to talk about it, or they feel like it's taboo. Because the man might feel like, man, we started talking about this. She might tell me, I ain't doing it right, and I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So we can't be. So that's why I said it's third for me. We can't be afraid to talk about how you feel, how I feel, what floats our boat, what's your love language, what makes you tick, what makes me tick. We can't be afraid to talk about those things. So I remember when we were younger, sex, intimacy for me was the sex part. Right? And it wasn't until, man, later on that I understood, and this wasn't even necessary through conversation. I started to, but I think our conversations helped, even though we wasn't talking about it, but I started to understand how she thought as a person.
Body language and all that type of thing.
Yeah. So when I started to understand that, I started to say, you know what? Let me approach this. Let me do this. Let me do that. And I started doing different stuff. And I'm talking about it was the sex went to a different level. Like, bro, I'm talking about when you start talking to each other. I think my soul left my body. When you start saying stuff like that to each other.
Yeah, I mean, but it's different. Like y'all got married, like you said, very young. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's one thing I can say about me and my wife. It's a thing of that. We always talk about bonding. That's our term and word that we kind of like use because, and bonding is like you said again. It's not just penetration. Bonding is just, because one of our things that we used to do, we hadn't did it in a while, but we would just literally just go ride, or what I'm saying, walk in Costco or Sam's and stuff like that, and different things to just kind of be with each other. We never necessarily be talking about we're gonna get ready to do that, but that's the part leading up to it. You know what I'm saying? It's the foreplay before the foreplay.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I kind of like how you put that, because I think, to me, that's what true intimacy is: the foreplay before the actual foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the stimulation, it's the touching, the talking, the all that stuff that gets you to eventually to that point. And most men, we just want to get to that point.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But as you learn and you grow, you know better, you do better, supposedly. Man, Queen, I'm telling you, it's different, bro. It's like it's like, man, I believe I had an out of body experience. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's to that level, because you mentally stimulate each other.
Right. And
have you ever heard a woman say?
That's why I love that Marvin Gaye song. Said, "I want you, but I want you to want me too."
Have you ever heard a woman say, "It takes a lot to get me there"?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When you hear a woman say it takes a lot to get me there, so the guy thinking, so what the first thing a guy gonna do? It takes a lot to get me there. So he's thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to go to Pound Town, I'm gonna have to lick it, I'm gonna have to stroke it, I'm gonna have to do all this stuff. It ain't even about that. You got to mentally stimulate her first and go through some other stuff, and then that part gonna be like, that's gonna be the easy part.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, going back to my original question, now that we just kind of talked about all that, do you think intimacy and sex, that a relationship or a marriage can be sustained without those two?
Again, it depends on the particular people's relationship. To somebody's relationship, it may not last. And like you just said earlier, you and Monica had to get to a certain point to where you understood where you were in your relationship. So to some person, they may vamp, you know what I'm saying, and exit out. But they may be the worst thing they ever could have did, because they didn't understand each other. They didn't know each other.
But listen to what I'm saying. We were still having sex though. It might not be regularly. You see what I'm saying? Whatever issue we're going through, we were still having sex. I said without sex, without intimacy, can the marriage or relationship be sustained without neither one of them present?
Yes, no, I don't believe it can.
Yeah. I don't think it can. I get, unless, like I said earlier, if you reach that point in your life where you guys have been married 45 years, y'all done did all that, and y'all just, we've been together 45 years, we ain't going nowhere. You got that kind of mindset. Well, and the sex might not be the sex in the intimacy part of that, may not be that, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all 75, 80 years old, you know what I'm saying? So that might not be there, but I believe if you between the ages of 30 and 60 and you are actively engaged in a relationship or a marriage, it's gonna be hard.
It's just like I watched this episode of America's Got Talent. I can't remember the ladies and the man, the lady and the man name, but both of them was like some well advanced athletes, and he ended up being in a bad. Was it a car accident or something? No, he did the high jump or something and hurt himself or something, but he ended up being paralyzed from the waist down. That lady stayed with that man because they was going to get ready to get married, and they still married each other. She stayed with them through all the whole process of what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Him going through all this doctor stuff and all that stuff. They still end up having a child through all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I think, depending on the situation, when there's not no intimacy or sex or whatever the case may be, it depends on what's going on in the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Especially, and I'm not trying to give it an excuse, especially when it comes to a woman, because understanding my wife and understanding, having, sisters and all that stuff and a daughter and all that, we do understand that women go through so many different life changes, menopause and hot flashes and all. Men don't experience stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to have some compromise to the point to where you get, say, and I'm sure it gets frustrated, but at the same time, you got to understand that they just built different.
Yeah, but it just don't stop it don't stop the obligation. They can go through there. We can agree to disagree.
When it comes to the woman, because the woman, that's what she don't want. She don't want it to become a chore obligation, and she just checking it off her list. Then that's what they do.
I understand that, but sometimes that's necessary to just sustain what we got on because you're going through this situation. You're going through this situation. You see what I'm saying? So to sustain the relationship, for me to still be there, I have to still experience that. That goes on. So whether it's a chore for her till we get past that stage, hey, yeah, it might be a chore for me. I might come in dead tired from working 2 jobs, doing the trying to provide, and she's sitting there saying, "Take that shower, babe. I'm ready." You like, hey. Don't ever think. It's some men that feel like that too, bro. Like it's some men that feel like that's just a chore for me. Like I'm coming home work, I'm tired, blah blah blah. I ain't even in the mood with that, and she's sitting there in the mood. But that's part of our obligation to each other. That even the Bible says that there should never be a time that we withhold unless it's agreed upon time. Or that that time they on their cycle or whatever. So we shouldn't be withholding. Yeah, we might not feel like it. That's what me and Marcus talked about Friday. That there's a time that I may not feel like, she may not feel like, but because I'm obligated to do so, I'm gonna make sure that at least she can get her rocks off at that point in time, or I can, get mine out.
Carlos Miller was on a podcast I was watching this past weekend. Carlos Miller, a comedian.
Oh, okay. Carlos Miller.
Yeah, and he was saying, he said, what people don't understand is it's a difference between love and sex. He said sex is, I wake up in the morning, bam, 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 boom, boom, boom. He said making love, he said that's the type of stuff you do at nighttime, y'all kind of loving each other, y'all kind of setting it up. He said, so y'all got to understand when to get it and when not to get it. I was like, okay, then.
Yeah, so I even had I ain't gonna say that. I even had a woman that tell me, I ain't gonna tell you where I know it from, but anyway, she said, it ain't always gotta be, that 30, 45 minutes stuff. She said, sometimes I just want you to get it. I don't want all that stuff. I just want to get it.
Yeah.
I said, what I said, and I said, women feel like that too. She said, hell yeah. She said, yeah. She said, sometimes we just want to get it. I heard my wife, and she gonna probably kill me for this one though. But my wife even told me, like, them times where I get real the seasons where I'm real busy, when I'm building stuff, I'm coming in, I'm getting off work, going build something, staying at 10, 11 o'clock, come in, take a shot. I might go 3, 4, 5 days, whatever. My wife might tell me, babe, I need for you to get this thing tonight now.
I think too, a lot of the times too, what happens is just watching y'all relationship and understanding mine as well. But at the same time, I think that her seeing you go so hard, and doing what you're supposed to do to provide for you all as a family, as a household, I think that that turns the woman on. You know what I'm saying? She's like, damn, this nigga really getting it.
Yeah, I believe that happens to a lot of. I believe it happens in a lot of relationships, and I think because I'm gonna tell you what's the second thing in the world to me, bro. For a woman, when I see a woman, because this is what I do. I build stuff and work my hand. When I see a woman just not afraid to get out there and be up now, not that she masculine or nothing like that, but to take that feminine energy and say, hey, I can do that. I can get out there, just put something together. Say, I did it. Bro, that is, bro, sexy as hell to me.
Man, my wife, man, but I don't even cut the yard, bro. I cut some of the yard. I don't even cut the yard. That's her thing. She wanted to ride more. You know, that's her thing. She get out there, she get her headphones on. She be at the gym and she do her thing.
But I know that's not Monica thing. Monica tell me in a minute, I'm a girl. I
Right.
don't do that. I'm a girl.
Yeah.
I leave that up to
When
you.
me and Don got married, I almost like used to I almost just turn heads when I was talking to certain individuals. Like, man, what you and your wife do? I said, we play the game. They're like, what game? I'm like, the PS5, the Sega, whatever. You like, with your wife? I'm like, yeah, she a gamer. She a game head. We don't play like we used to. We probably need to start back doing so. But man, we can play the game 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, that was like a love thing, you know what I'm saying? I bet you I beat you before I beat you, before you beat me. It'd be a certain game that we playing. I said, I'm gonna beat this jump before I go to bed tonight.
Me and Monica thing now is movies. Like we movie buff. Like we'll sit there and watch movies, man. We like when people call out a movie, it's hardly ever a movie, especially an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's hardly any action movie that we ain't seen or comedy special. Because for me and Monica, for the most part, we're gonna sit there all day long, laying in the bed next to each other, and we watch a movie. Find us another good one, babe. Find us another one. And she'd be like, pause it, babe. Let me run there and fix us something to eat. It's like, that's what we doing. Hold it, babe. Let me go put some cookies in the oven. And she come back with cookies and ice cream. Okay, now you can start the movie back. Whatever. But that's our thing, bro. Movies. You know, so everybody like, but you gotta know what your thing is, bro. Just like you said, me and Doug, we like to just walk through Costco, walk through Home Depot or Lowe's. Man, just walking through that, man. We can have one of them in the house, Doug. Yeah, y'all, that's y'all thing. And if you ain't got a thing, Joseph, you got to know what that thing is. And if it's something that y'all both enjoy, enjoy a lot, that could be that's an intimate moment.
Yeah. You know, I always gotta go to my friendly AI and see, because I want to just always, you know, since we're having this conversation, what's the difference between intimacy and romance? The romance and intimacy are related but distinct concepts. Romance often involves passionate feelings, attraction, and courtship behaviors. Intimacy, on the other hand, is about a deeper level of closeness and connecting where individuals feel safe and can be themselves with each other. Intimacy can exist without romance, and romance can be present without deep intimacy. Oh wow. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Romance is focus, passionate feelings, attraction, and romantic gestures like dates, gifts, and expressions of love. Examples: a romantic dinner, a heartfelt love letter, a proposal. Duration can be short-lived or long-term. Relationship often associated with romantic relationships, but can also be present in other relationships. Intimacy, focus, closeness, emotional connection, and the ability to share oneself safely with another person. I'm sorry. Examples: feeling comfortable sharing your deepest thoughts and fears, being able to confide in someone, experiencing vulnerability and trust. Duration requires a long-term commitment and nurturing. Oh wow. Relationship can exist in various relationships, including romantic and platonic relationships. But that's deep.
Yeah. See, Queen, that stuff Queen was talking about, pulling out that's the romantic stuff, pulling out the lotion, the whipped cream, all that stuff. That's those romantic gestures while we trying to spice up our. But that intimacy, man, like I just said, it's that connection that you guys have together, doing stuff that you guys are connected with and feeling that safe space. And if walking through Lowe's is both of y'all think, if you say to your wife, baby, let's go to Lowe's, and she get excited about it. Come on now. If you say, so Joseph, if you said, what if your wife don't know her intimacy language? I can't even comprehend it.
Well, I can see why you answered the question. Again, like you said, I kind of did some some research, watching some different podcasts this morning. I couldn't go to sleep, and a lot of the time, depending on the drama and the trauma that that person has went through, that particular person, whether it be that she was sexually molested, or something happened throughout her life, and especially if you all haven't conversed about those things, and she hadn't built built that trust or protection to the way she wanted to tell you what she had been through, or she told you that she'd been through those things. And that's why again we always say this, bro. And we didn't really tap into the whole mental thing like we did this time last year, but that's why, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. That's why that whole mental piece and getting therapy is so important, because you don't never know what a person has been through. And once y'all married, y'all in a relationship, you taking on all their person's whatever they had going on. And if you don't understand their hurt, their trauma that they've been through, it's gonna be a long way to go.
I think that's different. Because when I said I can't comprehend him saying she don't know her intimacy language. I can't, because you just told us the AI overview of what intimacy is. Intimacy is just that connection, that feeling. So are you saying that y'all married and there is no connection? Period. Now that's something different.
Yeah.
Like, there ain't no kind of connection. Why we even married?
You got a point there.
If intimacy is about connecting and feeling safe, creating a safe space and all of that, and doing stuff and connect, what part of the connection is missing? Like, if there's no connection, period, like how did y'all even get married?
Well, I think too, what's so important as well, bro, that yourself as an individual, male and female, that whatever you've been through or what you're going through in life, you got to have some self-assessment of yourself and say, you know what, whatever this is I'm going through and what I have going on in my life, I need to know that I can go through this and really love on myself to the point to where I can be vulnerable, but and love on myself and tell myself I deserve what God has blessed me with. I think a lot of times we be so down on ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
But that's where the counseling comes in at.
Right.
I think that's definitely where counseling has to come in at, because if you just like you said, if I've been traumatized as a young person, experienced some type of trauma, and as a young person or as an adult in a past relationship, and I never shared or talked about these things, or it's gonna be hard for me to be vulnerable.
Right.
Like, until I go and talk, get some help, and it may have to go without my partner or with my partner to find out, hey, this will happen. And sometimes people don't even, they go to couples therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they in couples therapy, and they find out all this trauma, past trauma they make that they ain't never even knew. They find out in therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you sitting there like, I'm sitting here with a broken person.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, now you having flashbacks and you saying, this why that happened. Oh, this why that happened. Now I understand why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or the person can go without you to therapy and realize all their past traumas, and they're understanding for the first time that these past traumas have really impacted their life and affected their life, and it's affecting their relationship now.
Right. That's why you have to be as you can, as much as you possibly can. If you understand how the radio works and TV work, when it says you need to be on a certain frequency. And when it comes to frequencies, a lot of times you have interferences, and those are things that you go through in life that you can't quite get on the same frequency because you got all these outside interferences. So those frequencies are very, very important for you to get up on the same line, because if y'all don't, y'all out of alignment. You feel me what I'm saying?
I like that, man, because check this out. I got a new camera at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera works fine. Like, if we had Bible study, whatever, the camera works fine. But every Sunday, soon as our guitarist hooks up and strums that guitar for the first time, the camera goes out. Goes black. It don't lose power. It goes black. So I went to the computer trying to figure out, like, what's going on. It says that it sounds like you have an electrical audio interference. That the guitar, I ain't making this up. That when the guitarist plays, that it creates a sound wave or electro field that causes the signal to interrupt the signal in the camera.
Jesus Christ. Flesh and blood didn't reveal that, doc.
And
Wow.
that's what happens in relationships, just like you just said. You got this connection going on, so this interference comes and it interrupts the connection that you have, whether it be past trauma from a last relationship, or whether it be there's no intimacy relationship because you don't understand how to connect with me.
Mm-hmm.
All you want to do is pounce on me, but you don't know how to connect with me. By connecting, you guys understand, like, there are some things that Monica and I, we're connected when we love. When we sit there watching a movie, that's the connection that we have. We both love to sit there watching. Hold on, baby, let me run to the bathroom right quick. You know, we got that connection where we're sitting there doing things and we laying up on each other, just hugging or holding hand. Sometimes we in the bed, we watch a movie. She just want to reach over and hold my hand. We got to fight Pepper, but we,
that's right.
Those are,
that word freak. I'm a freak. It's misconstrued. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times that's why you're not connecting, because you're not a freak. Not necessarily freaky per se, but y'all not on the right frequency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cause Queen freaky. We ain't talking about frequency, we talking about freaky. Queen, look what Queen's still saying. Yeah, touching each other, taking your time with your partner, trying different things. Hold on.
I'm gonna go holler at my guy, man. I'm gonna go holler. I think he got she got him over there tied.
Man, look, let's be honest. Who don't want sex in a relationship starting off, not include medical situations? She always had to in a medical situation. Sex had to be hot, but now at some point, insert that thing.
Jesus Christ.
Hello. Oh my God. Let me get on it. Look.
But what you do have to realize, y'all young, y'all ain't been married as long. Keep on living.
Oh boy. Hey now, she said she keep that shit spicy.
So
oh my God. Come on, Queen. Keep it spicy, baby. Keep it spicy. Come on, clock that tea, bro. Oh, man, they got the heat on in this building, bro. I'm over here sweating.
But they got the heat on. It ain't summertime.
Bro, it's blowing heat. I'm sitting right under the thing.
Good morning. Y'all know what time it is. Put them thumbs down, fingers up. It's time to clock that tip with your girl, Queen Watkins. Good morning. But y'all know what time it is. It's time to get messy. It's time to clock that tip. Okay. Have y'all seen the video of the husband that set his wife up and found out that she was out here getting $60 for the pom-pom? Yeah, let's talk about it. So there was this lady. She went to the hotel with this guy. He paid her $60, right? And of course, he paid her to get the cuckoo, right?
The cuckoo.
So boom, okay. He's in the room. He's just recording, and she pacing back and forth. And his story was, oh, I have a girl. We were just arguing. I shouldn't even be here. Oh, girl, like, dang, you scared? You don't want to? You scared? Well, I already got my money, so it is what it is.
I think I saw
and so old boy was basically just trying to stall her until his partner got there, right? But she didn't know nothing about it. She just thought they was finna.
Did you do that?
1, 2. Saying that you must be scared. You've never done this before. Are you a virgin? Whatever. So old boy was just like, no. So boom, there's a knock at the door. Boom, boom, boom. Wow. And he was like, let me get this door. And she was like, who is that? He was like, that's my partner. She said, I'm not. You ain't paying enough to get a train ran on me.
You ain't paying enough.
Paid $20 more, he would have been able to. Oh, okay. So the partner that was at the door was her husband. So she ended up walking out the room trying to run away or whatever. Oh boy, still recording. Husband going behind her, like, are you serious? Like, you just about to do the 1-2 with my boy? Are you serious? Her excuse was she needed attention. She said the bill's not getting paid. But old boy was like, hell, they getting paid? Like, yeah, we got bills. It's hard, but they're getting paid. Because she was trying to find an excuse to give to him of why she doing what she doing. Because husband was like, what's the point of this? You could have just told me you wanted attention. How long you been doing this, right? So the friend in the back just instigating, talking about, leave her. She was just about to have sex with me for $60. I already gave her the $60. She's telling you in your face that she gonna do this shit again and that she's done it before. But husband was hurt. Husband really didn't want to lose his relationship. He really wanted to get to the bottom of what's going on. He trying to see, like, sweetheart, why is you doing this? And you could have just come to me. So he truly, from the video, seems like he cared about his wife and he wanted things to work out between them two. But of course, he wanted her to stop doing what she was doing. And old girl sounding like she don't want to. She gonna get that little money on and she gonna go about her business. She's talking about, so you know I needed attention. You know. So is that the way to do it? And then for you to get paid for your pom pom, it's only worth $60. You couldn't put 2 zeros, get 100, $60, sweetheart. You can tell from the video, old girl had been doing that a lot for how she was trying to rush the friend. Come on, let's get it over with. You got 10 minutes, blase, blase. You could tell old girl was doing it a lot. And old boy did not want to leave her, period. But the friend comes and was like, bro, you crazy, man. So he gets to hugging on her, whatever, at the end. The husband gets to hugging on his wife. And the friend like, man, you crazy. You should have never messed back with this girl. She's telling you. She don't want you. She making it known that she messing up on you and gonna continue to do it because she need a little extra money on it. Get the fuck out. I mean, get out of here. For real. If that ain't what you wanted, say that and move on. All right, y'all. That's all the tea that we have today. Make sure you tune in to 2 Minute Hats Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. sharp. And don't forget to stay tuned for your girl, Queen Watkins. Clock that's it. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.
Boy. And see, that's the thing too, Tony, man. You know, and I'm glad what you said earlier. And it's amazing how her topics always kind of coincide with what we be talking about. But you know, how you said earlier when y'all first got married or whatever, that you was, you know, on some, you know, you was, you know, going through growing pains and growing stages or whatever. When you get a certain age and you've been in marriage for so long, you know what I'm saying? You ain't 18 no more, man. You can't be out here doing all this old bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? You doing this, and the third. And, you know, I think when I watched with y'all, when I was out Friday, the gentleman that was on with you, you know, somebody said, man, I just want to see do I still got it. Your ass gonna get it, all right? You gonna get your ass put out.
So the thing with this that whole situation was, like Queen said, clearly this wasn't her first time.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys and I can send y'all the video, put the video in the group if y'all want to see the video.
Mm-hmm.
But the video clearly shows a woman pacing back and forth, asking the dude, was he scared? Asking, was he a virgin? You know, what's wrong with you? Like she was on ready.
Yeah.
She was on ready. Like, and he was stalling. And she was like, what you virgin or something? I mean, what's wrong with you? And he was like, no, just, you know. So he was stalling until his partner got there, basically. So this woman clearly has done this before, was comfortable doing it. So she's for the streets.
Mm-hmm.
She is for the streets.
Right.
Soon as she saw her husband and tried to run out the room and he caught up with her, She went to you nothing. You ain't tell me nothing. Her whole demeanor changed,
Right.
and that's why the partner was saying, "Bro, come on." She was finna do me for $60, bro. Don't leave. Don't you ain't like it wouldn't even been no question.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in and money getting there trying to get $60 and they gonna try. Oh, it's OV. Like I don't have nothing. Like ain't nothing you can say to me,
So you saying that's all I had to do is give you $60?
bro. You would hear me in a 304 for $60,
Yeah,
and
bro.
and the video clearly shows you didn't done this before.
Unless some change, some strange with them change.
Roger said it used to be the funky 40. Now it's 60. Don't take this little funky 40.
Man, what?
Well, your mama gonna get you. She gonna tell me she get it from her mama.
Yes,
Girl.
Prime is afraid to didn't reply. I was waiting on that when we were
Yeah,
watching
she
the,
did. Look, she said, "Stop, Queen. Don't tell it all."
yeah, but I'm saying she said she did it for my mom. I wonder what she's gonna say. Miss Alfreda, speak up now. Forever hold your peace.
Yeah, man, look what Queen said. Right after her mama told her to stop. You being hard headed, girl. Hard headed. So,
It said Mr. Elson
oh my God.
Mr. Elson
Yeah,
and,
it is
Mr. Fitz
amazing
was
how
doing it.
Queen comes up with like the topics like, and I never see her. She said no, she don't.
Whatever.
I never see her clock the T segment before I come up with a topic. I never see it.
Right.
So that's why it's so ironic that it's always the same. Or it kind of coincides. So yeah, man, look. Going back to the original question of the thing, do I think marriages or relationships can be sustained without sex or intimacy? Again, I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down and say no. If there is no sex, no intimacy in a relationship or marriage, I don't think it can be sustained.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I'm just gonna go out there and say that. That's my last take on it. That's my I'm standing on that. That's the ground I'm standing on, solid ground I'm standing on. That's it. I digress.
And the thing about it is, Tony, a lot again, and I'm so thankful for where we have arrived, because some stuff that you said that you just wasn't going to discuss, but you probably be amazed at some of the relationships that people are in that they're just not happy because they don't talk about stuff, they don't communicate about it, and you know, I think one time did I hear this from you or did I hear it from somebody else that I used to work for, but it's just like management. I heard a gentleman say, you got some managers just turnkey managers, meaning they're not happy with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of times with relationships, you just got some turnkey relationships.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn the key to walk in the door and turn the key to walk out that part. Yeah. All right, man, this has been another doozy. And I almost feel like so we're gonna put a different spin on this, Amar. Because instead of just having a part two, we're gonna put a different spin on it, and we're gonna come. I'm gonna see if I can invite Marcus back on so all three of us can be on here. And I want to put a spin on it because he brought up the thing about the concubines, and I think when you think about talking about the concubines and polygamous relationships and sex and intimacy, like that's got to be like crazy, like to even like it's hard, bro, trying to understand one woman and figure out one woman, and it's like I can't imagine having 3 wives.
No, Doc.
Or a wife and 2 girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but so a lot of folks see stuff like that, especially when it comes from a biblical standpoint. And I didn't learn this to my dad. Actually, it broke it down to me. He said the reason why that was allowed a lot of times, those men was making alliance with those countries. They weren't necessarily with those women, like with your wife. They weren't necessarily doing anything. You just, in other words, it's almost like the movie Coming to America. Their marriage and stuff was already set up. I don't even like this lady, so that's why he went out. You know what I'm saying, to try to find somebody he really loved and want to be with.
Right.
No, I'm about to do all that. Hell no. Mm-mm.
Right. All right, man. We're closing us out with a prayer. We're gonna put a different spin on it tomorrow. We're gonna come from a different spin.
Different spin.
Also, again, y'all see the alert going across the bottom of the page. Starting June 2nd, 2025, we will only be broadcasting on our 2 Men in Hat podcast fan page and our YouTube channel. If you are on your computer now, you can take your phone and scan right there. The QR code at the bottom of the page. You can scan that and actually be a part of our podcast fan page. Or you can just go to our 2 Men in Hats podcast fan page and like it and follow. But that would be the only way. We'll try when we go live from that page to hit the highlights, hit the everyone highlights or whatever, and see if everybody that follows can jump on there. But and the YouTube channel, so that way, because we know that some people don't have Facebook, period. At least they'll be able to view by YouTube. So our 2 Men in Hats podcast fan page and our YouTube channel starting June 2nd. All right.
Yes, sir.
Come on with it.
All right. Lord God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this opportunity, just waking us up this morning, giving us life, giving us breath to breathe. Lord God, we thank you for just what you have been doing for us and keeping us in our right minds. Lord God, continue to touch relationships that may be going through, or maybe going through individual things that may be broken. Touch their mind, spirit, and soul. Touch husbands and wives that they will maybe become whole with one another. We ask you to just continue to touch every family that is connected with us and that's going through something. And good Lord God, we just ask you to continue to touch our efforts that we could try to make individuals better than what they are, Lord God. We ask you to do this in your son Jesus' name, and we said amen.
Amen. And look, also, we still trying to, we got a few more days to the 31st to raise this money for the family of 6 that we want to send on the little weekend getaway. So y'all make sure y'all 2 Men in Hats 2024, y'all donate 2 Men in Hats 2024, cash out, donate so we can try to help this family. I think they just cut the air on.
They heard you.
Yeah. All right. And other than that, we'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Same bad time.
Same bad place.
2 Men in Hats. Let's talk about it.
It's the 2 Men in Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle, every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock Dead. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. 2 Men in Hats podcast.